Hey there, Lise here, and I'm super excited to be diving in to another human design Q&A question. Today we are answering this question, so I'm just going to read it out for you. As a 5/1 emotional generator, how can I make sales? Right? That's the first question. But then specifically, I'm thinking about fundraising for my film, but also bringing in new coaching clients. I can't initiate, correct? As a generator, you're not here to initiate, but I can connect, but still I feel stymied and impatient. There's a couple of things here to unpack. And I just always want to remind you all, regardless of what your type, strategy, and authority is, when it comes to your business, your strategy is basically the way that you bring things to life. And it's also your marketing strategy, right? The way that you market your business is largely dependent on your strategy. Your authority will step in terms of what you are energetically here to move forward. Now, when you're an emotional generator, it is a little bit harder to kind of figure out all of these components. So I want to walk you through what it means to be a generator in business first, and then what it really does look like for you to actually market your business. So I'm going to talk with the generator, the strategy first. So as a generator, you're here to respond, right? Waiting to respond, literally everything is an opportunity for you to respond. So when it comes to marketing, creating offers, all of those things, we always want to be doing things in response. What does that mean? Well, basically, we're not here to act or initiate on anything, particularly any ideas that we might have, unless we can really step back and go, okay, where did that come from? Where am I responding? So that would be my first recommendation to you, is to really sit down and go, okay, what am I responding to? Right? Because we're not here to chase sales as a sacral being, right? So making sales isn't so much about you actually needing to sit down and figure out, how am I going to make sales? It's very much about you being able to make sure that all facets of your business are optimized. And then when you do want to run a promotion or launch or do anything like that, that's where you want to really sit down and go, okay, what am I responding to? That should be your default question for everything. And then making sure that whatever it is that you're responding to, right? So you've got the, okay, I'm responding to this external thing, that your gut is also giving you a heck yes. This is something I'm super excited about. If you don't have that, then you don't touch it, right? That's when you step into waiting to respond, both from your sacral and both from an external prompt. But let's assume that you confirmed that you're responding to something external, your gut is on board. Then the next step that you want to always ensure is that you've got human network buy-in. And what I mean by that is your audience actually asking for whatever it is that you're selling? Now, that could actually be a direct ask, but more often than not, it's in the subtleties of what people say. So this is where your 5/1 profile actually comes in and helps you figure these components out. Your uniqueness, right? Your specific way of approaching things is very much going to be what it is for you as a 5/1. What's the problem solving component? How are you researching? What is it that you can help and guide people with? But if you don't have a human network buy-in, then you don't do anything. And I know as I'm saying all of this, you're probably going to be feeling extremely frustrated, which is why you always want to be doing things like presenting the opportunity for people to buy from you every single day. I call this discoverable content. And basically that means what you're doing is creating long form content. So whether that's a blog, a YouTube channel, or a podcast, right? That's the start of your discoverable content. Then every piece of discoverable content that you create should always be created because it is going to help someone make a decision around an offer. And I like to reverse engineer. So typically I start with my offer suite, and then I sit down and I go, okay, what are the problems that I'm solving with each individual offer? What content can I create to help them think about those offers, to help them move through some of that stuff now. And then once I know that, then I can optimize every piece of content to point to an offer. So discoverable content is something that we want to just have working for us 24/7. It's organic. So having that in place is key. And then if you are into social media, you can repurpose your discoverable content into posts, making sure that it always points back to an offer. So that's part of the making sales all the time. But if you're wanting to bring in new coaching clients, then this is very much about thinking through and responding to things, right? Literally saying to the universe, I want new coaching clients. Send me some signs or send me some ideas for me to respond to. And it really does become that easy when you use the universe in this way. Instead of you sitting there thinking, how can I do this? When you're not designed to initiate, instead it's, how can the universe help me, right? Literally ask the question and then you step into responding. Don't forget that as a generator, you're also here to follow your joy and share that joy, regardless of whether it is business related or not. So part of that discoverable content is visibility. Where are you visibly connecting with your audience? That could be on email, which is what I do. It could be on social media, it could be in a private community that you have. But what are the opportunities that people have to get your stuff? At the end of the day, if you aren't consistently presenting the opportunity to your audience to buy from you, then how are they going to know? Marketing is always about visibility. Where are you visible? And also, how are you being discovered, right? How can people find you if you aren't regularly providing them with content? So then on the emotional authority side of things, it's largely going to depend on your emotional wave that you might have. And I don't have the information, but all that you want to think about is from an energy perspective in terms of marketing things, what is your feeling when it comes to doing any of the marketing things that you might be considering? So let's say, again, you're responding, you're excited about it, your gut's giving you a heck yes, but your emotional authority is going to determine what you energetically have space for. And that is why you always sleep on it, because you need to feel and experience the range of emotions that will probably come up when you're thinking about that thing. But your emotional piece is in your body, not your head. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, whatever you might run through in your head, that's when you know you're not feeling the emotions. Instead, you're trying to think it through, which is going to be feeling normal for a 5-1 to do that. The one loves to research the crap out of all the things, and you're a natural problem solver. But I want to remind you that sacral first, feelings second, and it is bodily feeling, not head feeling. And you're in the head feeling when you're trying to figure things out and you're trying to rationalize stuff. The decisions that we make about anything, particularly when you're following human design, don't always seem rational to our head centers, right? Whether they're open or defined doesn't matter. This does not understand what our bodies know to be true. So I know that this is probably not going to be something super concrete, but at the end of the day, it's very much about always remembering that. What am I responding to is the question to be asking, and really paying attention to that. The other thing that you can do is do things like create a wait list, which will give you a very clear indicator as to whether you've got human buy-in, right? That human network buy-in. If people are joining your wait list, or if they're joining an interest list, then those are the people that you can directly talk to about whatever that offer is. But honestly, discoverable content is the best thing that you can set up. And then networking is probably another option, although typically as a 5-1's not such a big thing for you to network, but you're a problem solver. So switch into asking that question. What can I do to make sales right now? And let the universe send you signs. Your job is simply to pay attention. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you've got any other questions, and I will see you guys in next week's video, where we're going to talk about some other amazing questions that have come in from subscribers. Now, if you are wanting to get your own question answered, you will find a link below to go and submit your own question, and I will feature it in an upcoming Tuesday Q&A video. Take care.